Scarlight here, and welcome to day 4 of Trick or Miss versus the OUT. It has some fantastic games overall, and if you like Pokemon content in general, please consider subscribing. We're so close to 50 subs, we'd love if we could get there. And the question of the day is, which is your favourite mythical? And for me personally, I personally love Victini. I just think its design is so awesome, the lore behind it, the movie, the Victini movie as well, such a phenomenal film. And yeah, hope sooner or later Game Freak releases Victini Shiny, because it's been a very long time since Victini has stayed Shiny locked, which is unfortunate. So hopefully one day we might get the Shiny. But anyway, let's go into our first matchup here. So massive threat instantly that we can see. Kingambit and Landorus, and potentially the Kalen, especially with Chili Specs. So I've been looking at this team, and I thought that they might lead off with Landorus most likely. If not, could also see the Kingambit lead. So we decided to lead off with Poppy, because of that. As they lead off with Zapdos, which is very scary. So I'm thinking who to go into. We decided to go into Randall so we can take the electric type attack, but they end up going for Thunder Wave, which really does hit Randall, and then we get confused as well the whole game. Hope we hit our Dragon Dart, which luckily we do. But we're already in a very bad position, but we decided to go into Bling because we know they have Hurricane and Thunder Wave, which we're immune to, and we resist, which is fantastic. So, decide just go for a nice Shadow Ball here, get a lot of damage off on the Zapdos. We get a look at the Spectral Defense drop, as they do want to full switch out into the massive threat that is Landorus. So we instantly go into Poppy, as they go for Stealth Rocks. We decide to go for Defog, as they reveal Taunts, which really got me panicking. And then they reveal the Stone Edge. Which again, very scary. So right here, I'm thinking, should I stay in, let Poppy go down, or should I just go with the bit riskier play and go out into Bling, predicting them go for Stone Edge, be able to take the hit and potentially take the Landorus out. So that was thinking. Always been going to Peach to take the Stone Edge, but I really wanted Peach to be a good amount of health, so we do end up going for the Bling play. And we just got to hope it pays out, and they don't predict that we go for the switch out here. Because our opponent might think we'll just go let Poppy go down, which does make sense for us to do also. So we get another nice safe switching. But we can save Poppy for later for Death Forest, especially with the Aftermath, as they do go for the Stone Egg, which is fantastic. They don't know where Chili Scarf, so we get to make it rain off, and we get the KO on the Landorus, a massive bet out the way, which really helped against the team, as they will show Iron Value now with the speed, with booster speed. So we let Bling go to scout what type of set it is, physical, special. So at the moment they've revealed knockoff, so we just go into Mimikyu here, as they will go for the knockoff again. Unfortunately knock our Life Orb off, and we barely miss out on the KO, barely, but we do have the Shadow Sneak. But they do go into Zapdos, and I was a bit panicking here, just because in case their static goes off. But we have to get rid of this Zapdos. It's another mega threat, especially when we don't have many great switch-ins into it. So now they bring in Cinderace here, and we debate on going into Coco to take the Power Ball, or Peach. We decide to go into Peach here to take the Power Ball, but it turns out to be Gunshot, and unfortunately for them, they do miss. So we end up just going back into Poppy, so we can potentially try to get the Defog off. So we end up just going for the Strength Up there, see if we can get any HP back, and we live on 1% with the knockoff. Did not mind if Poppy went down there either, because the Aftermath would have kicked in, and we would have got rid of this Iron Valiant too. So they end up just going on for Encores here. We end up just going into another Strength Up. So here I want to go into Peach because I think it's a mix set because of the booster speed. And it turns out it is a mix set with Peach, which is fantastic. We did pick the Kingambit go for Hex here, but realistically, bit of a misplay. I should have switched out maybe into Mimikyu, just get a better position. We can go into Mimikyu now, which we don't end up doing. We do just go to Poppy and let Poppy go down, get the aftermath off. And then we will bring back in our Echo, our Mimikyu here. And the reason, the reason we can now go safely for the Drain Punch and hope to get the KO. We end up telling here because I'm scared of Sucker Punch. And the case that might KO Echo from this range, which is most likely will, because Echo doesn't have the best defense. So we end up going with the Drain Punch. It didn't end up going for the Sucker Punch. We get the KO. Another massive threat out the way, and now here comes the Cinderace again. I think I make another misplay here. We end up going to Peach to take the Power Ball, but I think we should have let Randall go. So that was a bit unfortunate. As we end up going for the recover, they Telefire, we take it by 1%. And we managed to get the recover off. So we just go for the recover again, hoping that they might miss a Power Ball, or they just go straight for the switch out into Karam. A massive threat at this point into it, especially if they've got air power. And they revealed Dragon Dance, so I was thinking maybe it's a physical set with Icicle Spear. So they end up staying and go for the Freeze Dry. So I went into Coco to test if they do have the air power or not. And also because we ignored the attack boost, and they do have the air power. So most likely Dragon Dance there is just to get its speed up. As they will KO Coco now, we can just go into Echo now though. Go for the nice Drain Punch. We should be able to take one Ice Beam because we know it's not 3 specs. And we do, and we get the nice Drain Punch off. Barely miss out on the KO right there. But we do have the Shadow Sneak, which really did come in handy. We get Ice Beam, which is unfortunate. But the KO is on 3%. The next band to go take it out. So it just gives us perfect time to recover with Peach, which is fantastic because Peach looks very good endgame here. So we end up just going for the recover, and the kitten goes down to the burn, which is fantastic. They end up going to Iron Valium. We want a quick recover again anyway to see what they go for, but they do end up going for the Encore, which is very scary, and just start trying to chip away with us with Moonblast, which again is very scary, and they can just keep locking us in to recover. But I really want to test out if recover couldn't work if we got 0 BP, and it doesn't. So we end up getting the KO on the Iron Valiant. I think the opponent made a misplay there going for the Encore. They should have just went for the Moonblast. And now it's Peach versus the Cinderace. Peach takes the Powerball very well. We luckily get the crit and the Toxic and obviously the Confuse because of our nice ability. And we just go for the Malefic Chain again. We take the Powerball, which is fantastic, and we get the KO on the Cinderace. So such an intense first game. Again, I think I made the misplays down there. I think I should have just let Randall go down earlier on against the Cinderace, and then bring in Peach. So we're in very good HP range. We can just go for the Malefic Chain. If they decide to go for the Powerball, then we can go for the cover next turn. So I think that will put us in a better spot, but awesome first game, and let's go into the next one. So the next game right here is against Iron Valiant, the Gliscor, Galillion, Slowking, Great Tusk, Dragon Pulse, and the Skarmory. Massive threat instantly, Dragon Pulse. Massive threat. Same with Great Tusk if we let that go out of control, but again we do have Poppy to try to control that. Also Gliscor is a massive threat. So I'm looking at this team, I'm thinking who they're really going to lead off with. I was predicting the Skarmory or the Gliscor. So I believe we end up going into, try to remember, yeah, we end up going to Poppy predicting one of them two, but they lead with the Dragon Pulse, which is quite scary. So I go into Echo here to scout what set this Dragon Pulse is. If it's Shadow Ball, if it's physical, because we can take a physical variant much better than special. And they go for Will-O-Wisp. Unfortunately, they do get the miss there. So that reveals that the best move is Hex, which is very good information to know. Echo gets a lot of damage off on the Dragon Pulse, and we can finish off with a Shadow Sneak, so instant threat down. Again, that Bane dodge really did help. So now they just go into Skarmory. We just end up going into Bring here, because Skarmory can't really do much, if at all, anything to bring, so it just gives us a nice free trick here because the team is mainly slow apart from the Iron Valiant. So we end up tricking the Glasgow into a Choice Scarf, which is fantastic. We can now safely just go into Poppy, take a knockoff or anything like that. They do decide to go for a knockoff. So we can just go for the defog now, and Poppy's taking so little damage. Awesome to have Poppy on the team, and now we can just go for the strength sap, get most of our health back, which is fantastic. And then we can start just going for the Will-O-Wisp. So they end up going to Iron Val, and we notice there's no boost energy, so it's potentially Choice Scarf or Choice Specs. So we end up going to Coco to see do they know Shadow Ball, and they do. So unfortunately Coco takes a lot of damage there, but we can always bring it back in later on against the Galarian Slowking, against the Skarmory, or even potentially against the Glasgow if they just go for the knockoff. So we opt to reserve it, we go into Echo as a nice little fodder here, and we're going for Shell Sneak. And then we just end up going to Randall after this to scout if it's Choice Specs or Choice Scarf. So we end up just going for the Hex. If this Hex connects, then we do get the KO. But they do end up switching out, which does make me think that it's Choice Specs more than Choice Scarf. As they will just go for another knockoff here onto Poppy, we can just safely just go for the Hex here. Predicting the Iron Valiant to come out again. But they do just end up going Galarian Slowking. And I really want to get a burn on this Mon, just for nice Hex potential later, as they do just end up going for Killing Reception, predicting the switch out. So they bring back an Iron Val, and I'm thinking, should we just let Poppy go down here, or if not, who to let go in this situation? So we end up going to bring to see if it's Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, but it didn't KO us with the Shadow Ball, so it makes me think Choice Scarf, and the Shadow Ball just proved it because they did outspeed us. So we just end up going into Dragon Ball, going for the Hex. Trying to think why we went Dragon Ball there. Maybe I was planning to tell her. Don't know why I didn't. But we end up getting the Hex off on the Glasgow, get rid of the massive threat, as they will now just go back into Galarian Slowking. Maybe they're modest Choice Scarf, so maybe they wouldn't outspeed Randall. I'm not too sure why they switched out there. But we get another free Hex off. We end up just going for the U-turn, predicting the switch out. They do end up staying in. So at this point, I'm thinking we should just go into Poppy. Poppy should be able to take a Sludge Bomb, as that's what they do go for. And now the Fukusite is going to come in, so we just end up going for the Strength Sap because I highly doubt they really want to stay in here. As they do not, they do just go to Skarmory. We get some nice HP back, as we do end up taking the Fukusite. So we just end up going for the Strength Sap again. Which again is oh no, the Iron Valiant is Choice Specs. I just remembered that we did pick our Choice Scarf away. So yeah, the Randall was to scout it if it was Choice Scarf, Choice Specs. It was Choice Specs. I didn't honestly think that during the battle. I completely forgot. But yeah, that's why it did so much damage to Coco there too. So they end up just going for the spikes. We end up just getting the nice Will-O-Wisp off here. As they end up going for another spikes. We are faster, so we can just go for the defog. Again, Poppy is just so reliable, again, with so many entry hazards, just lowering their attack, as they will end us out into Coco, which is honestly the best position we can be in, as they will opt to go for the Brave Bird, but because of the burn, barely does anything, and now Coco is in a very good position. So we just end up just going for the Talk Song, get the KO, get the special attack buff, and yeah, Coco looks phenomenal now. As we do want to switch out into Poppy, and we do end up taking the Headlong Rush. Unfortunately, we do go down to the Ice Spinner, but the Aftermath is definitely going to kick in and definitely going to help, which gives plenty of time for Randall just to go for that nice Will-O-Wisp. There's the last one we haven't burned yet, and our Hexes are looking very powerful, and so is Coco now, because now that the Great Tusk is burned, we can just tell a fairy, go for Slack Off, and then just start Talk Songing away. Especially when the Iron Valiant can't hit us for any super effective moves now. We should be able to take any one hit from the Iron Val. So they do end up just going for the Headlong Rush. They do want to set up Stealth Rocks up here, which again I think is another misplay on the opponent. I think they should have just went for the Headlong Rushes. As they do just go for another Headlong Rush, we do just end up just going for Slack Off again. And I believe we click a Slack Off one more time, just to make sure that we don't let the Iron Valiant KO us. We are faster than Galillian Slow King. We will take it out with a Hex. They will now just go into the Iron Valiant. They can just get a free Moonblast off here, but we should be able to take it. As we do, it does take 59%, especially when this is a max special defense Skeleton here, and they do end up forfeiting. Fantastic game right there. Honestly, I just wish I realised earlier. I don't think we should have let Bling go there. I think we should have just... No, I think it was the right choice letting Bling go there. Just because I don't think it was really needed for the rest of the matchup. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. So we're at 2 wins at the moment. Can we make it a third one? So yeah, here's our third game here, and there's a lot of massive threats. The Darkrai, the Goldango, the King Gambit, the Waging Bolt. 4 of their members we are super weak to, so it's going to be a very tough matchup. So we end up leading with Randall. I was predicting either the 7th Center not the Warring Waging Bolt or the Hatterene. I did not expect the Goldango. So we just end up going for the U-turn here to go into Echo so we can take a damage, but they reveal to be Choice Scarf, which is a massive threat. So try to think of what I really want to do here. So we do end up just going into Coco, Terra Fairy straight away, and try to get rid of this massive threat. Because knowing that it's Choice Scarf, but again, the problem with Coco being Terra Fairy is that they can always try to predict Coco and go for Make It Rain instead. So yeah, we end up just going for the nice Talk Song here, as they do switch into Darkrai, most likely predicting our Terra Layer 2. So I predict that they just go quick the Sludge Bomb here. Nice safe play for them to do. They could even Terra Poison, which I really did not want that. So we just end up going for Bling. They don't know that our Bling is also Choice Scarf, so we end up getting a KO on the massive threat of being in the Darkrai, which is fantastic. So yeah, I really am worried though, because they can just bring back in the Goldango, predict the Skeleton switch in, maybe go for a Make It Rain. They could also just go for the King Gambit play now, but they end up going into the Raging Bolt. So I should have, this is a mistake here, I should have switched out into Echo straight away. Letting Coco take 50%, it was not good at all, was not ideal. So we do just try to go for a Slack Off, but they end up getting the quit. I don't think that really mattered, unfortunately. So yeah, unfortunately I think I let Coco go way down too early there. We should have brought into Echo against this one. And now we can just go for the play rough, do some nice damage. Echo barely takes anything. We can just now go for the Shadow Sneak, get the KO on the Raging Bolt. But at this point they can just bring in Goldango, which again, very scary one. And then we have to rely on the speed tie. But then again, if we let Echo go down here, then we don't really have a way to deal with King Gambit either. So we're in a very tough predicament. So we do end up going for Peach. Just by looking at the team, Peach is least valuable. We end up going to Bling. It's whoever wins the speed tie here. And unfortunately, we do lose the speed tie. So we can just go for a nice Shadow Sneak now. Take a nice 50% off the Goldango, which I did not expect to do that much, to be honest. As we can now just go for Hex with Poppy. Poppy does live on the 1. We get the Hex off, which is 48%, which again is not enough. As they will finish off with a Shadow Ball, which again, very unfortunate, big misplay of letting Coco go down earlier there. because it would have put at least our opponent into a guessing game whether to go for the make it rain or go for the Shadow Ball. So really bad blunder on my part there. Should have let Coco live, should have went straight into Echo. Again, I was really concerned about the King Gambit in the end. Even if I think it did make them plays, I don't know if the outcome would have changed. But it would have been nice to see. But again, you live and you learn, and that was a massive mistake on my part. 2 wins and 1 losses. Can we make it 3-1? And here's our next matchup here. Again, massive threat play away. The Great Tusk, the Goldango, and the King Gambit. And I've just been scored with Goldango as well with the Chewy Scarf set. So yeah, not really tough matchup, but extremely doable. We do predict the Great Tusk here. Oh no, we don't, because I'm so concerned with the last match. We just end up going to Poppy here, as they do end up going for Stealth Rock, so we can just go for Will-Wisp. Yeah, Ice Spinner only does 40% to Poppy, which is fantastic. We can now just go for the Defog on the Gorging Fire, which is a very scary mon also. But we do have Coco to really counter it, even with the Dragon Dancers up. As long as it's not Earthquake and it's the Dragon Dance Morning Sun Breaking Sweep set, which it is, we should be fine. They end up getting a critical hit on us. Does not really matter in the long run. Coco will eventually be able to out damage this mon. We just go for another Talk Song again, because that was a crit. So we are in a very fine position, as they will just go into Galillian Slowking, which really does take the Talk Songs very well. We end up going for Will-Wisp, but we end up missing, unfortunately. Will-O-Miss. So we end up just going for the Hex right there, as they do just go for the Sludge Bomb. We can just go for the Slack Off. To get back to 100%, as they do just go for another Sludge Bomb and then the Focus Sight. In hindsight, we should have really switched out into Bring here. Just to make sure Coco does take that much damage, because Coco is a massive defensive threat to the opponents. So they end up going with Wellboom here, so I'm predicting the knockoff, as that's what they do go for. They do get the crit on Poppy, unfortunately, but Poppy, again with the Aftermath, really does help a lot. So we just end up going for Peach, knowing that we can take a knockoff, we can just go for the Malignant Chain and hope for the poison. So they knock off our leftovers, which is unfortunate. They are left with 1%, but we do get the poison off, which is fantastic. And now we can just go full recover. They should not be able to KO us with any one move, and they do hit themselves in confusion. So Peak is nice and fully back to full HP. But it does give an opportunity for King Gambit to come in, or the Great Tusk. But they end up going into Mufasa, Gorging Fire. As they will just switch straight into King Gambit, so we just have to go for Echo here, knowing that how big a massive threat King Gambit is. We can now just Telefighting instantly. Do not want to risk King Gambit living at 1%, like our last video. So we Telefighting, we get rid of the King Gambit, which is fantastic, and we really did get rid of a massive threat. So the only really massive threat left now is the Goldango, but they do end up forfeiting, so it makes me think that the Goldango is more defensive than more offensive. So that means our Bling could have came in, get a couple of nice Shadow Balls off. We still had our Coco with the Telefairy against the Gorging Fire. Even if they do Flare Blitz a couple of times, they will not be able to out damage us once we get at least 2 Talk Songs off with some Hexes. So yeah, very close game, and let's go into the next one. We against a very similar team. So again, massive threats. Definitely the King Gambit, the Dragon Port, the Great Tusk, and the Gorging Fire. But again, the Gorging Fire is more controllable. We do end up leading with Poppy, as we do lead up with Great Tusk. They straight away go for the Ice Spinner. We just go for the Will-Wisp. So that means Great Tusk should not be doing too much to us now, as we can just now go for the Strength Sap and get back to full HP, and they go into Gorging Fire. So again, we make the same play as last time. We just go into Coco, just to see what type of sets. They do end up going for Dragon Dance, but we do have our Talk Song, which is completely fine. We can scout what type of set the Gorging Fire is. If it is the Breaking Sweep Flare Blitz set, which does look like it is, as he will bring in Dragon Pulse here. Again, very, very scary mom. So again, I really want to see what type of set the Dragon Pulse is, because again, if it's physical, it's very, very doable. So we end up staying in as he revealed the Thunder Wave, and unfortunately get fully powered right there. So knowing that it's Thunder Wave, Hex, either Dragon Dart or Draco Meteor and U-turn, we can just go into safe play, going into our own Randall to take the Hex. And then we are risking a speed tag here. In hindsight, I should have went into Bling. I think that was a bit of a misplay. But we do end up going for the Dragon Dart and get the KO instantly, which is fantastic, as they will now go back into Gorging Fire. So the only reason they would do this if they would go to Terra. So we end up going for the Will miss, and we miss, which is very unfortunate. So we try to go for the Will-O-Wisp again, and it really shows that it is a very defensive Gorging Fire, not offensive. So now that the Gorging Fire is banned, we can ignore it or stat boost with Coco. Gorging Fire is not a problem anymore, and we did force a Terra, which is fantastic. They end up going to Galarian Slowking. They do end up going for a Spooky Sight. We can just get the nice ban off here. They do reveal Surf, which was quite scary. We barely miss out on the KO. Barely miss out on the KO right there. And they do just forfeit. Again, I don't know why it could have went a lot closer right there. But maybe they just thought that they didn't have the resources to take the rest of the members down. I'm not too sure why the forfeit there, but another win for us. So we're at 5-1 now. No, 4-1. This is our final game where we end up being 5-1 or 2-4. You have to let me know. But very scary matchup, by the way. We have 2 Dark types to deal with, and we have a Great Tusk as well. So very, very tough matchup. We end up going to Poppy, predicting the Great Tusk. But no, they end up going with Masquerada. So knowing that it's probably going to go for the knockoff, but no, they end up going for Triple Axel. And unfortunately, Poppy does take the hits. So it makes me think it's more Choice Scarf than Choice Band, because I don't think we would be able to take a Choice Banded Triple Axel. So we end up just going to the Bling, predicting that it is 1 or 2, a nice safe switching. And honestly, it just gives us a free reign to Shadow Ball, as they will just go into Galarian Slowking, take a nice 41%. We can just go for the Shadow Ball again to see what they will want to go for, as they reveal Flamethrower, which does a lot of damage, so it really makes me think it's more offensive than defensive. They end up going into Masquerada again. So I'm debating here if we want to save Bling or if we want to let Bling go. Because we can potentially scout the Choice Scarf, or we let Poppy go down, but they end up going for U-turn anyway. So Poppy does take it onto 9%. So Poppy's very, very low at the moment. But we could always try recover the health back later. But yeah, they have so many massive threats, but we have managed to ban at least one of the massive threats. It's the low kicks I'm very, very scared of, especially with Sucker Punch, Fierce Impression. Also the Tinted Lens ability is very, very scary to against. But I was been looking at his team and I realised that Coco looks phenomenal this matchup. If we be able to get some damage off on the Zamazenta. So we do let Poppy go down here to the Aftermath, which is completely fine. We can just go into Peach now. Peach absolutely just raw Zamazenta. It does give them a free switching into Corviknight, but they do end up going to Slowking instead. So we just end up going to the Parting Shot. As I believe they will just go for Future Sight. No Side Shock here, and Bling takes it until 1%. So they will bring back in Masquerada now, and at this point, we either go let Bling go down, or we go see if it was Choice Banded or Choice Scarf, and it was indeed Choice Scarf. So now that we know that information, so the low kicks is definitely Choice Banded, and I was really debating in who to go to. I think we do just end up going to Echo because we can take any one hit. We can get the Play Rough off, which is going to be fantastic in the long run. So just go wait on what our opponent wants to do. But yeah, at this point I'm feeling nice comfortable position even though we're 2 members down. As they reveal to be Telebug, and they end up just going for the U-turn, break our disguise, massive threat right there, and they bring back Galillian Slowking. So at this point I'm thinking to Sword Stance up, because I don't think they can one-hit KO us with any type of move. Yet we barely survive, but they do end up unfortunately getting the poison on us. So we just end up going for the Shadow Sneak. I should have made a mistake here. I should have predicted the switch out into the Corviknight, because again, +2 Shadow Sneak should take this offensive Galillian Slowking down. But we do get a nice bit of percent off. And at this point I realised, yeah, we can just now go into Coco. We can just start going for talk songs. Really put pressure on the opponent right there. So they do go into Galillian Slowking, which again does scare me quite a bit because we don't have a burn yet. So we end up going for the Will-O-Wisp, and we actually hit, which is fantastic. They end up getting a crit on the Sludge Bomb, and we can just go for the nice Hex right there. And the burn doesn't get the KO, so now we can just Tera Fairy and go for the Slack Off, as they want to save Galillian Slowking, but it's a bit too late now. They end up going for the U-turn, going back into Galillian Slowking, and yet we can just go for another talk song. Again, maybe they didn't think we were faster, but they just end up going back into Corviknight, predicting the Slack Off maybe. And yet we get the instant KO on the Corviknight, 1 massive threat down. They end up going to Samba Center, which was a bit of a surprise, but they do have the Heavy Slam, but Heavy Slam's really not doing anything. And unfortunately we miss with Coco. So we try go for the Will-O-Wisp again, now that we're in nice safe range, and we miss again, which is very unfortunate. Coco is learning from Randall, which is not a good sign at all. So we just have to go for the Slack Off again. But again, now they don't have the pressure with Corviknight is fantastic. So we just end up going for the Will-O-Wisp again, and I'm really hoping that we hit. Just so we can just get nice safe 3 Slack Offs. But we have to use half our Slack Offs then just on this Samba Center alone, which was quite scary, as we can just go for the Hex, instantly get the KO. They will bring back the Galillian Slowking, but we can just Hex, get the KO. And they go into low kicks here. I click Talk Song, which I really what I should have done is went for the Slack Off. Now because they didn't, now they can just go back into low kicks and potentially get the KO on Coco, which is very unfortunate, as they will just end up going for the Leech Life, but we know the choice banded, so we can just go into Randall and just really force the switch out. And at this point we're in a very good position, as they do surprisingly let the low kicks go down. I would have switched out into Masquerada there to let the Masquerada go down and see if they can do anything with fair suppression. But yeah, they do knock off our heavy duty boots, but we can just finish off the Masquerada with a Hex, and that's the game. Nice 5-1 right there. Fantastic day 4. Awesome to see it. Definitely made some misplays along the way there. Especially the games we could have won at, especially games I won as well. Again, that 3rd game, just so many threats. Definitely made some misplays there, but I'm not too sure that would have mattered if I made the right plays. But yeah, I am so happy. You have to let me know what you think of Poppy as well, and I'll see you on the MVP screen. We're back on the MVP screen, and today's MVP is Coco. This team's honestly doing phenomenal. Coco is just such a amazing role. The talk song is such a broken move too. Just the idea to attack, keep raising your special attack is honestly insane. Coco's bulk is honestly phenomenal, but this team in general is doing really well. Again, not many members are that far behind from Coco either. Blink's still up there, Echo's catching up there now too, so is Randall. Honestly, it's just been a really rollercoaster of MVPs this week, because normally we just have one main consistent MVP, or maybe 2. But at the moment it's been 3, and honestly I hope it continues. It seems like a nice ongoing battle. But yeah, Coco did phenomenal work today in all the battles, which is honestly fantastic to see. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day today. 5 wins, 1 losses. You can't really ask for nearly anything better, honestly. Again, definitely made some misplays throughout, but again, you are most likely are in any type of battle, and just to look back at them to see what you can improve on in the future is really what matters. And yeah, honestly, Coco's been so phenomenal, and I'm so happy Coco's MVP. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 5, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day.